What happens when one of the most controversial figures in the royal family sits down for what should have been a straightforward chat show appearance? You won't believe what unfolds when years of pent-up frustration explode into the most shocking television moment of the year. Last night's episode of This Morning delivered pure television gold as Meghan Markle's carefully constructed public image crumbled in spectacular fashion during a heated exchange with host Dermot O'Leary that left viewers absolutely stunned. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because you're not going to believe what unfolds when royal protocol meets daytime television reality. The tension was palpable from the moment Meghan walked onto the This Morning set, her designer outfit immaculate but her demeanor notably frosty. What started as seemingly innocent questions about her latest ventures quickly transformed into the most explosive confrontation daytime television has witnessed in years. Dermot O'Leary, known for his usually gentle interviewing style, began with what appeared to be standard promotional questions about Meghan's recent projects. However, the atmosphere shifted dramatically when he broached the subject of her relationship with the British media and public perception. "Meghan, there's been quite a lot of discussion about your various media appearances, and some critics have suggested there's been inconsistency in your messaging," Dermot began, his tone professional, yet probing. The change in Meghan's expression was immediate and unmistakable. Her practiced smile faltered as she straightened in her chair, clearly bristling at the implication. "I'm sorry, Dermot, but I think that's quite unfair," she responded, her voice taking on a distinctly sharper edge. "I've been nothing but consistent in speaking my truth and standing up for what's right." What happened next caught everyone off guard. Dermot, perhaps sensing an opportunity for genuine journalism, pressed further. "But surely you can understand why some people might find it difficult to reconcile some of your statements with your actions. For instance, your calls for privacy while simultaneously participating in high-profile media ventures." The studio fell silent as Meghan's composure began to crack. Her eyes flashed with unmistakable anger as she leaned forward, her voice rising noticeably. "Are you seriously questioning my integrity right now? Do you have any idea what I've been through? What my family has endured because of exactly this kind of treatment?" Dermot, clearly taken aback by the sudden escalation, attempted to maintain his professional demeanor. "I'm simply asking questions that many viewers have expressed interest in hearing answered. Surely, as someone who's spoken so openly about transparency, you'd welcome the opportunity to address these concerns directly." This proved to be the spark that ignited the powder keg. Meghan's voice rose to an almost shrill pitch as she shot back, "This is exactly the kind of disgusting behavior that drove us out of the UK in the first place. You sit there with your smug attitude, thinking you have the right to interrogate me like some common criminal." The tension in the studio was now suffocating as crew members exchanged worried glances. Dermot, his own patience clearly wearing thin, responded with barely contained frustration. "Meghan, these are legitimate questions from legitimate concerns raised by the public. If you can't handle basic scrutiny, perhaps public life isn't the right choice for you." The words hung in the air like a challenge, and Meghan's reaction was explosive. She stood abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the studio floor. "How dare you speak to me that way? Do you know who I am? I'm a duchess. I don't have to sit here and be disrespected by some second-rate television presenter." Dermot's own composure finally cracked as he stood to match her energy. "Duchess, you walked away from that responsibility, remember? You can't have it both ways, Meghan. You can't demand royal treatment while rejecting royal duties." The studio erupted as Meghan's face flushed crimson with rage. "You have absolutely no right to speak to me about my decisions. You know nothing about the sacrifices I've made, the racism I faced, the impossible situation I was put in. And yet here you are, making millions off those very experiences while lecturing the rest of us about victimhood." Dermot shot back, his Irish accent becoming more pronounced as his anger flared. "You've turned your family drama into a cottage industry." The confrontation reached its peak as Meghan began gathering her belongings with theatrical fury. "This interview is over. I will not be treated like this by anyone, especially not by someone who clearly has an agenda against me." Dermot, refusing to back down, delivered what would become the moment's most memorable line. "The only agenda here, Meghan, is getting honest answers to honest questions. If you can't handle that, then perhaps the problem isn't with everyone else. With that final exchange, Meghan stormed toward the studio exit, her heels clicking angrily against the floor. She paused dramatically at the studio door, turning back one final time to deliver her parting shot. "You'll be hearing from my lawyers about this disgraceful treatment. This is exactly why we had to leave this toxic country." And with that declaration, she disappeared through the studio doors, leaving behind a stunned silence that seemed to stretch on forever. Dermot stood frozen for several seconds, clearly processing what had just transpired, before slowly turning back to face the cameras, with a mixture of shock and defiance still etched across his features. The raw, unfiltered emotion of those final moments created television history, as viewers witnessed the complete breakdown of what was supposed to be a simple promotional appearance, transforming instead into the most dramatic confrontation daytime television has ever produced.